Hey garden friends, welcome back to Not Quite Homesteading, ESK Garden. Today I'm going to be sharing a second seed haul with you guys, and I'm super excited because I actually got a lot of these varieties from my local Home Depot. But before we get into that, if you are a garden enthusiast, a gardener yourself looking for community support, or if you're someone that just loves to follow a good gardening journey, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's engage in the comments and have a little fun and conversation around gardening. So I'm going to go through the seeds that I picked up from Home Depot, and I was actually pretty surprised. I went to get some things that I needed for the garden space, some soil and some other things, and I left myself open to be able to purchase seeds while we were there. I didn't think I would purchase as many as I actually did. The varieties were really good, and it seems like they brought in quite a bit of those rare seeds that we would only see like online, compared to the last time I went in and purchased seeds from a retail store. So I was pretty excited to see the variety. They had everything in great quantity. So if you haven't purchased your seeds yet, if you haven't checked out your local retail stores, definitely go ahead and do that. I think you might be pleasantly surprised this year. But I want to talk about the things that I picked up from there. This definitely is not my last seed haul. I am almost complete with all of the things that I want to get for 2023. There probably are maybe three or four things that are outstanding that I really would like to get my hands on. And those things are moringa, which I forgot about during my last seed order, Japanese yams or Japanese sweet potatoes. I want to get some regular potatoes, and then I also want to get some cilantro. They had them on in my gardener's website. Unfortunately, at the time that I went to purchase them, they were no longer available. So those are the four things that are kind of outstanding that, if I get an opportunity to, I will go ahead and purchase for the spring 2023 season. Outside of that, going through these seeds today, which are quite a bit, and then the seeds that I will share with you once they get here, that is going to be everything that I am purchasing for this season. So to start, I was really happy to find some more flower varieties that I wanted to pick up within the retail store. And one of them is the Dwarf Sunspot Sunflower. And this particular sunflower, obviously it's a smaller version of a traditional sunflower plant. I was really hesitant to purchase sunflowers because I didn't want anything that was going to be so large to the point that, one, it kind of became a nuisance and or would take over like the garden. It's still a small space garden because it's not fully built yet, and I want to maximize on all the space that I had. So when I went in, it really wasn't my intention to purchase flowers because I had some and I said I would just work with those, but I will go ahead and utilize these because they had them, and then they had dwarf varieties that I could grow in my backyard without them being invasive. I picked up two different kinds of nasturtiums. These are going to be planted all over the garden because from what I understand about, I guess, the way things went last year for a lot of folks when it comes to, things like zucchini plants and perhaps like eggplant, like pests and pepper pests. I wanted to make sure that I was able to plant these around almost every plant that really needs that pest deterrent from attacking them, and more so the plants that really get hit hard by like the worms, so that we could bring in the beneficial and parasitic wasps. So I picked up a dwarf cherry rose nasturtium, and these are a beautiful vibrant red, and then I did the dwarf jewel mixed colors. So I think this has some of the ones that I just shared, and then it has some yellow and seemingly mixed varieties. So I'm super excited about that. And then I picked up a Heavenly Blue Morning Glory. I thought these were beautiful. I wanted something blue in the garden, so this is going to be a nice addition. I was looking at hydrangeas, probably it's sometime in like the fall, but I've also read that those can be like pretty invasive and without proper care, you know, they don't actually maintain the blue color. So I was like, you know what? I said, that's a little far, that's a little beyond my skill level at this point, you know, to have to worry about. So I want to go ahead and plant something blue. So I thought this would be a good addition. And that's really it for the flowers that I picked up. I already have some things here, and I think in conjunction with the things that I already have, that will be a nice mix for me to get just some color in the garden, as well as to bring in some of the beneficial insects to help the garden along this season. So on to our vegetable plants. Now I had these, I brought them home. I brought them home and I started organizing and I put everything all neatly packed away, and I was like, you know what, I should probably share, you know, the additional seeds that I picked up. And really, because they just had like such good variety at the local store, I was like really shocked. So I was like, how could I not share that? So I ended up having to pull them all out of the organization, and here we are. So I picked up two lettuces, and I really wanted an iceberg lettuce. So just a standard iceberg lettuce. And I really like iceberg lettuces. I know people give iceberg lettuce a bad rap, but if you really like taste the flavor of an iceberg lettuce, like meaning eat it plain, allow the flavor to set on your palate, they're actually really, really good. I think we get used to eating them kind of bogged down and everything else, more so for like texture and crunch factor, rather than enjoying the actual plant itself. Yes, it's mostly water. A lot of vegetables are, but it actually is really delicious if you just taste the vegetable and not the dressing on top of it. I also picked up some Bib lettuce. Bib lettuce, like butter lettuce, are really good to me. They obviously have like really distinctive flavors, and I thought this would be just a nice and different variety to grow compared to the things that I have grown up to this point. And whether I grew them successfully or not, but I have harvested a lot of the lettuce at the baby stage, which, you know, you get like tender, milder greens, and that's been nice. I haven't done any full lettuce heads, so I'm hoping to have a little bit better luck with these during the spring to get full heads out of them. I picked up some more arugula and Swiss chard. So these are things, these actually did grow pretty well for me throughout the fall. And the arugula was really, really good. I harvested it at both like the baby and mature stages, and that's just fine for me. I don't mind the flavor of arugula. The Swiss chard, I did mostly kind of like baby greens for those, and those were really good. I do want to have enough plants to keep both the baby greens as well as to allow the Swiss chard to grow, you know, a little bit more mature and enjoy them that way. So I definitely wanted to pick up more seeds for that. And then for the final like set of leafy greens, I picked up two more varieties of spinach. So the spinach that I've been growing has been hybrid sensation, and that's good. I will say I haven't had great success with growing out the plant as far as like fullness goes. I harvest them at the baby stages, which is how I kind of like a lot of the greens. So the variety that I have is harvestable from 22 to 55 days. This is actually a baby variety, which is nice, you know, to have a different variety to try out and compare it to the one that I've tried. And then this particular one, this is a Bloomsdale Longstanding, actually is supposed to be slower to bolt than other varieties. So considering that my climate is really mild, gets really hot and humid and pretty quickly, I wanted to try out something that could have a little bit more resistance to the climate that we have here on the coast. So I'm interested to see how this compares to the other varieties that I have. And I guess when these start to bolt, like this and the hybrid sensation, you know, where this will be in its kind of growth pattern compared to those two. I picked up another cucumber, and these are the burpless. These are the spring burpless cucumbers. Now, these are what look to me like English cucumbers, and they tend to be kind of like seedless. They are slicing cucumbers. It says they're crisp and bitter free, which, you know, typically that would describe an English cucumber. I wanted more cucumbers, but I was a little hesitant to get too many because, you know, when you're getting slicing cucumbers, if the plant is doing really well, you tend to have a lot, and we can only eat but so many fresh cucumbers. You can also only pickle but so many, right? And I don't want to find myself in a place of pickling too many slicing cucumbers. That's what, you know, we have the pickling varieties for. So I just wanted to get these because I really wanted these the last time, but they didn't have them. So I ended up like picking up like the Tasty Green, which those were really good too. But this is usually what I would buy if I go to a supermarket. So I definitely wanted to grow these this year. I picked up some different radish varieties. I'm currently experimenting with and have been growing the Crimson Giant and the Scarlet Red. So I picked up some Icicle Short Top, which is a white radish. And then I also picked up the French Breakfast. Now this seems to be pretty popular across YouTube, so I wanted to try something different, see what the difference in the variety is. This one, you know, it says it has an old world radish flavor. I don't know what the heck old world versus new world flavor means. You know, when I think of old world, I'll be honest, I think of bland, you know, very bland and not so colorful the way they describe it. But we'll see what happens with that. The short top, it says it's an early white radish, which is nice. This one is a 27 to 35 day harvest. I don't know, like, you know, in comparison to what they consider that early. My other varieties are 20 and 30 days as well. So, you know, I don't know what a late radish harvest looks like, but it says that this one is mild in flavor. So I don't know if it has like a sweetness to it or if it's just not as pungent in the pepperiness as some of the red varieties, but I am looking forward to growing it. So I picked up two types of tomatoes from Home Depot, and one of them was an early variety. So I wanted to see what the early variety would do and how it would compare to some of the regular season growing tomatoes. So this is an early girl hybrid, and this one is actually a container variety, which is nice. It says it takes first place as the earliest slicing tomato, and the plants yield an early abundance of 4 to 6 ounce fruits. It is an indeterminate variety, and you know, they seem pretty like nice uniform on the pack and like a nice, you know, bright tomato red. So I'll see how this goes. I know that I've heard with early varieties that sometimes they tend to not have either the full flavor or as good of flavor as the regular season varieties, but tomatoes do take quite a bit of time. And, you know, one of the things, not saying I don't think, you know, ours will grow well, but one of the things that I am kind of anticipating happening is a halt at some point in the growth because it just simply gets too hot here for tomatoes, right? You know, while we can plant multiple seasons, there is going to be a point where I think the tomatoes just aren't going to be doing their best at production. I picked up this Jubilee tomato, which is a nice orange skin tomato. This one says it has a mild non-acid flavor. So one of the things that I guess you can say I don't really like about raw tomatoes is when they are too acidic. I have grown more tolerant of eating raw tomatoes simply for health benefits. But when I do eat them that way, I tend to salt them first, let some of that acid get eaten up by the salt, and then they do taste a lot better to me. I also slice them really, really thinly because me and a thick slice of tomato, it just, we're not gonna coexist. But I do want to make sure that I have enough tomatoes to be able to do the canning and preservation projects that I need, so that we'll have tomatoes throughout until the next growing season. But also, you know, heart healthy, just eating the things that are going to benefit health long term. You know, I want to make sure that, you know, as we age, you know, we're not running into any issues that we can avoid by eating like healthy things like tomatoes. So, and I thought this would be a nice addition as far as like color goes to the garden. In root vegetable land, I picked up some turnips. Now, I have not eaten a turnip ever in my life, at least not that I'm aware of. And I know that they tend to be kind of like hit or miss depending on who you ask. So I figured, why not give it a go? You know, I find that I eat a lot of stuff now that I didn't think I would once eat at all. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to try it. You know, if we don't like it, then I won't grow it again. But let me know how you feel about turnips. You know, I hear that the flavor can be really harsh. You know, some people say that they're really, really good roasted. Some people like them sauteed in their natural flavor. I have no idea, but you know, again, radishes are something that can be pretty hit or miss for most people. Like I said, I eat tomatoes, and tomatoes are just not my favorite thing. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But let me know how you feel about turnips if you've ever grown them. I picked up 2 new varieties of carrots, and I got the tender sweet and the long imperator. Now, I think the tender sweet is, okay, so the tender sweet says it has a crisp, fresh crunch. The red roots are smooth skin, fine grained, nearly coreless. And then the imperator, these grow, says 8 inches long when fully mature. The flesh is firm, flavor is excellent. I think I had seen really good things actually about both of them, but especially the imperator, just as far as like the growth and really getting a carrot, you know, an elongated carrot, the way we kind of expect carrots to be. So I have high hopes for this. This is actually going to be going in the ground pretty soon. I'm just kind of planning with these. I think I'm just going to drop the whole pack. If not, I'll drop probably half now, half in the fall, and then same for this. You know, I'm not looking to hold on to a ton of seeds to go into next year. You know, I know there will absolutely be some left over, but I don't want to find myself in a place where I'm just kind of like harboring seeds. So moving on to eggplants. I picked up the Black Beauty eggplant. So this is the standard like American eggplant, I believe. Now it says it's a favorite ingredient in Mediterranean style cooking, but I believe this is a US variety. You know, standard eggplant. Now I will say I haven't had many encounters with eggplant, but the encounters I've had, not really the biggest fan. Now I know that things can be different when growing, but I'm curious to see, you know, if there are different recipes than, you know, the typical eggplant parmesan, which, you know, that was one of the things I didn't like, right? I also don't like guacamole, but I will eat it if I make it at home. Sometimes when people make things for you, or, you know, when it's made in a way that maybe you don't find favorable, you find that you don't like something, and then if you find a way to make it where it's, you know, really, really good, you know, you end up liking it more than you actually thought. So I do want to give it a try from like its freshest form to see if it's something that we would like. And again, like I said, with vegetables, one of the things that we are doing is we are just increasing the variety, increasing the color for the particular health benefits. I also picked up this Green Knight hybrid eggplant variety from Burpee. And I thought this was really, really pretty. You know, something outside of the ordinary, and you know, it'll definitely at a minimum be a beautiful ornamental within the garden. But I want to compare, you know, the flavors, especially because if we don't particularly care for this, you know, how does that compare right next to something like this, or maybe some of the other varieties that I intend to grow? And I think having that experience firsthand and side by side will allow me to be the best judge of which varieties I will truly like and would want to grow again in the future. I also picked up the White Knight hybrid. So I think these are pretty much like the same. I don't know if the there's going to be a huge difference in flavor. One is green, one is white, but the green one says it's mildly sweet. The white one doesn't give too much about the flavor, it just says it's perfect for roasting, sauteing, baking, or serving fresh. So, you know, who knows, these might have a better texture than the traditional Black Beauty. I picked up a gray zucchini summer squash, and I do like regular like Black Beauty zucchini. Like if you pick them according to like direction, which is picking them early when they're just about 6 inches, they are actually really, really good. The ones they sell to us in the stores, I think are a little bit overgrown. And of course I think that's more for appeal. You know, people want to feel like they're getting more for what they're paying for. But in reality, zucchini, when it is 4 to 6 inches, is actually considered a delicacy, and you would pay a lot more for it if you got it somewhere like in a restaurant. So I let a lot of mine grow probably to like 6 inches max, maybe 7. And I found them to be really, really good. So I'm interested to see and compare this to the regular Black Beauty. I also want to have some comparison to some of the pest struggles that I had with the regular zucchini last year. And while I was able to get some harvest, like many of you, I'm sure, my plants did not have a very long life. Moving on to some herbs, I picked up some lavender to grow from seed. This is English lavender. So this was a plant like the plant that I had purchased, I want to say early fall. That one unfortunately died because, for one, it just got, you know, a little too cold for the plant, and two, I wasn't really watering it because I didn't have anywhere to put it. So I'm going to attempt to grow these from seed this year. I think this will be a great companion plant for quite a few of the things that I grow that have, you know, significant pest issues. I picked up this red Reuben basil. Now I've not had, you know, purple basil of any kind, but it says this is an ornamental leaf. You know, it's great in the flower or vegetable bed. Now, I don't know if you're supposed to actually eat this. I'll probably have to look it up, but I really did like the color, and yes, you know, it will be great for ornamental value. I picked up some peppermint because this was one of the herbs that I wanted and did not have. My husband thoroughly enjoys peppermint tea. I do drink it for more so like digestive purposes. So I figured this would be great to have and to grow. You know, I'm not a super huge peppermint fan as far as like edible things, but in recent years, I've definitely taken to drinking peppermint tea. I was able to pick up the Texas Grano short day onions, and I picked up 2 of these. The reason I picked up 2 is because when I went to purchase onions last year, they were sold out pretty much everywhere that I looked. So while they have them, I just went ahead and purchased these seeds, so I'll have them ready for the fall. And that way, if for some reason I'm by chance too late, I do have my yellow onion variety. It seems like the white onions and the red varieties, those tend to, you know, be available. These were pretty much all gone, and because I need a short day variety, you know, and there are not seemingly many options for them, these, you know, are kind of hard to come by. So I picked up a few sweet peppers. I had wanted peppers, and I wasn't sure when I was going to order my seeds from online, but I ended up ordering some additional peppers, but not too many more shortly after. So, and that was really because, like I said, a lot of the seeds started to just kind of disappear. So I didn't want to miss out on any more than I had already missed out on. But I picked up the Garden Leader Munster Bell. So this is a green sweet pepper. I picked up the California Wonder 300. I think that's the TMR stands for tobacco mosaic virus, if I'm not mistaken. And this is supposed to be an improved disease resistance against tobacco mosaic virus. So this I'm looking forward to growing because you can harvest this at both the green and red stages. But I did still want to have some other plants, you know, that were strictly green bell peppers. And then I believe the other one that I ordered is also harvestable at green and red. But, you know, the green bell pepper will allow me to leave more for the fruiting and ripening to red peppers. I picked up this carnival blend of sweet peppers, and then I really wanted to get like a purple and an orange variety, but I already have a kind of like a snow white variety as well as a yellow variety. So I was like, rather than, you know, buy another few packs of separate seeds, I said, let me just go ahead and get this. And I think these are kind of like the mini versions, it seems like. So these might be good for snacking as well, but it'll give me a little bit more color in the pepper department, as well as the ability to kind of see those purples and oranges that I thought were pretty nice. I picked up an early jalapeno pepper, and I wanted an early jalapeno because I enjoy jalapenos a lot, and my understanding is that peppers in general can just take a really long time to grow their fruits. Now, I did hear recently on a video that I watched that these flavor-wise may not be as good as a regular jalapeno, but you know, we'll see. I'm still obviously going to grow them, but you know, the person said that they were better cooked than they are raw, and I don't just go around eating raw jalapenos like that anyway. So, you know, given that bit of information, I might find that those do well. I picked up some hot pepperoncinis, and this is something I like to keep around. I like to add them to like meat dishes. Of course, you know, the famous Mississippi roast. I don't eat red meat, but I usually make it with like pork. I've made it with chicken. It's really good. So it'll be nice to have those, and I can go ahead and pickle my own because those things are not cheap at the store. We need to cut back these grocery costs. And then the last two things I got from my Home Depot were some watermelons. Now, these were watermelon varieties that I actually wanted to order online, but since they had the seeds in the stores, I was like, well, I might as well go ahead and get them, and I don't have to pay shipping, right? So I got the Crimson Sweet Watermelon, and these are supposed to grow really, really large. It says they can grow to 25 pounds. So everyone talks about this variety as being kind of like the key variety to grow and how good it is, you know, and obviously for the size that you get on the plant. So I wanted to try those. And then I heard some really good things about the Sugar Baby variety. These are supposed to be extremely sweet. They're much smaller fruits. They grow to about 8 pounds, but I think these also mature a lot quicker than a standard watermelon. So it'll be nice to have these a little earlier than the traditional watermelon. And I'm excited to grow both of them. So that is our second seed haul for the spring summer 2023 garden. Let me know where you guys are with picking up all of your seeds. Are there still things that you want to get? Are there things that you had trouble finding? And what are some of your plans around, you know, different vegetables, fruits, herbs, and such that maybe you haven't grown before and that you're excited to grow this season? I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate you having a sit down with me and talking about seeds. And until our next garden update, bye friends.